Hey y'all, I got a story time, right? Uh, so this story time is about when your family and people you love backstab you, right? It's about betrayal. That's what it's about, betrayal, right? Um, so I had a cousin, as y'all know, maybe you don't, that I grew up in a foster home. But I had a cousin. Uh, was not really my cousin, but we grew up as cousins, right? And I still consider, she was my cousin, right? Her kids and my kids' cousins. We family, right? Still to this day. I don't, still to this day. Okay, I'll put it like that, right? So anyway, my cousin, when I was a young girl, she always had my back. She always took up for me. She defended me. She didn't let anybody hurt me. And as y'all know, or maybe you don't, but I'm telling you now, I'm loyal. I am a very loyal person. I expect loyalty back. Sometimes you don't get it, but I am very loyal. If you've ever done anything for me or to me in a good way, I never forget it. I never forget it, right? And I feel that I owe you, okay? I never forget the goodness that someone has bestowed upon me, right? So this is my cousin, and as we got older, we started hanging out when I was of age to hang out, right? 'Cause she was about 4 years older than me. So she was grown before I was, right? But when I got of age, we started hanging out. Now, when I tell you this was my ride, die, soul sister number one, at times in my life, she was closer to me than my own sisters, right? Because I learned so much from her. She gave me a lot of game, a lot of advice, just a lot, right? And we remained that way throughout the years, right? Now, my last relationship, which was 10 plus years, right? I found out that she had had sex with my man, right? Now, let me tell you how I found out, right? So my man always had a business bag, right? I never went in it because it was his business, not mine. I didn't need to go in it, right? This particular day, it was sitting in the living room, and something said, go in it. Now, that something is the Holy Spirit. This was some information that I needed to know, right? So I go and look in the bag, not thinking nothing, because he ain't nothing, it's his business in there, right? Not mine, ain't hurting me. I go and look in the bag, and there was I don't know if it was an 8 by 10 or 5 by 7 picture of my cousin, who I love, close as sisters, and my man, who I love, my partner in life. They took a picture together on or around Valentine's Day. And I'm going to tell you why it was on, right? So, it had the hearts and the balloons and this and that. Now, they were close. They wasn't lovey-dovey close, but they were close, right? And that shouldn't have been. Now, I was nowhere around. Why was I nowhere around? Because this particular year, Valentine's Day, we had broken up, which is what he did often because he was a narcissist. Look it up. This is what they do. He had broke up with me. But the day before, I was sick in the bed. I think I had the flu. I was sick. So he had came over, brought me some soup, probably brought me something to eat, shoveled the driveway. It was a lot of snow. Shoveled the driveway out and said before he left, I'll see you tomorrow. Now, in my mind, even though we broke up and he's done this before, that's still my man. My man coming over tomorrow. It's Valentine's Day, right? So, okay, I'll see you tomorrow, right? Felt good, sick, but I felt good because my man, he going to come over here tomorrow, right? Make everything all right. So, because I was laying in the bed and ill, didn't pay too much attention to the time. When about late afternoon, early evening come, I call him. Right? Like, where you at? What's happening? What's up? He says to me, what? I'm with my girl. Excuse me? I'm your girl. What girl you with? Who is she? Where you know her from? How long y'all been? What? So, of course, my mind is just going around. I'm hurt. I'm devastated. Not only is my heart hurt, I'm mentally and spiritually, physically, I'm all the hurts, right? How could he do this to me? You just told me you would be here, and now you're saying you with your girl. I know now that he's a narcissist and that they gaslight and this is what they do. Did not know it at the time, just didn't have no understanding of why he was doing the things that he was doing, right? So, me being a girl, and I'm not ashamed to admit what I did. Won't do it again because I know better, but at this time, I was hurt. I was in shock. I was a whole bunch of emotions, right? I continuously called him on his phone. But what was even crazier was that he kept answering. This lets me know that he got a hard on because I kept calling him. That excited him. That turned him on. Narcissists like attention, right? Whether it's negative or positive. And I think they prefer negative, right? And so he would keep answering, and he would hang up, but he would keep answering, right? And I continued to call. Now, I can't tell you how many times I called because this was some time ago. I don't remember. But I did keep calling because I was so hurt and could not understand what was happening in my life right now, right? Okay. Now, that happened in February. When I found the picture may have been summertime, right? Didn't quite put two and two together. He hurt me on Valentine's. We ended up getting back together. I basically forgot about that, right? There was so many episodes like that. I saw the picture. I looked in the bag, saw the picture of him and her. I immediately flashed back to that time earlier that year that he said he was with his girl. Understand me now. Now, because I just told y'all that was my cousin and I know her, she taught me a lot of things. I know she's a conniving ass scammer, right? I know she will do some strange things to get some change. I know that. Now, my guy was very good to me financially. He didn't know how to be good to me any other way, but he was very good to me financially. And from the outside looking in, it looked effortless, right? You don't know what's going on in people's household, right? But he was very, very good to me financially. There was never a need or a want that I did not get. This is the reason why I stayed so long, right? Because I was equating money and things with love. All right. So I remember that. I flashed immediately to that. Now, I waited maybe a day or so before I present the picture to him. I presented to him. What's this? He tells me, I took that picture before I met you. Now, mind you, we had been together 3, 4, 5 years at this point, right? If you had met my cousin before me, you would have told me. If she had met him, let's say he wouldn't go and say nothing, she would have told me. Why? Because my guy had a very distinctive look, right? He had a very distinctive look. He wore a patch on his eye. Ain't nobody gonna forget the patch. Even if you was just outside playing for a minute and you just happen to be somebody, they say, come on, take a picture with me. You're gonna remember the Negro with the patch on his eye, right? Well-dressed, nice-looking gentleman with the patch. You're not going to forget that, right? So she never said nothing. He never said nothing. But I knew that was a lie. You want to know how I knew that was a lie? He had on a sweater that I had bought him for Christmas prior to the Valentine's Day. I bought that sweater that he had on. So this was not a picture that you took years ago. Now, let me tell you this. He did have a lot of pictures with ladies. When I first got with him in his apartment, he had lots and lots of pictures. He was a single man. He was a bachelor. He had lots of pictures that he took with women. Lots of them. I looked at each and every one of them. Don't you think I would have saw my cousin and be like, oh, this is my cousin. You know my cousin? We'd have been had that conversation. And me and my cousin were so close, she was always at the house. Holidays, all of this, right? Now, to learn what else happened, you got to watch part 2. Okay? To learn what happened, you got to watch part 2. Probably going to be a part 3. All right?